All righty. Okay, so to begin with, compassion comes from a word that means to feel with. So who, when, and why do we use compassion? First, who? With strangers. When? When we are quiet on the inside. Why? Because it's something we have felt and we have dealt with and that we can share with another person. Now, how do you do this? Well, let me ask you. When you're talking to someone, can you hear what they're saying? No, not usually. Most people talk and they get concentrated on what they're feeling, what they're thinking, and then pushing it out. So the only way you can hear what you can hear from other people is if you listen. So how do you listen? You be quiet. Well, the same thing happens with your feelings. Your feelings are generated by your solar plexus. Your feelings or other people's feelings are listened to by the heart center. So if we can quiet what we're projecting and what we're feeling and what we're thinking about what we're feeling, it's only then that we can pick up from other people what it is that they're feeling. This is empathy. Empathy is just the process. Compassion is your feeling with another person. So when we're generating our own feelings, can we really feel what someone else is feeling when we're busy projecting out what it is that we're feeling? No. How can we listen? Well, there's a very simple exercise that you can do that you can learn to understand what it is you're empathizing from another person. So, in order to empathize, in order to read what you're reading from other people, I suggest, if you're going to an event exactly, maybe a family event where there's going to be some kind of stress, or a technical event where you're going to have to concentrate, what you need to do first is you need to sit in your car, let's say, just before you go in. Close your eyes and go inside and ask yourself, how do I feel right now? And as you do this, think through and think as best you can how you would be able to describe this to another person. Put it into words and kind of understand, bless you. Put it into words that you'll be able to make another person understand what it is that you're feeling. When you feel calm, grounded, then go into the event. Start participating in the event. Move about, talk with other people, and after a while you're going to get a feel, because the event's going to feel a little bit different than you do. And then give yourself an opportunity to go to the bathroom outside. Don't have a cigarette, it won't work for you. Go outside, go to another place, sit back, listen inside, and ask yourself, now what do I feel? And pretty certainly, you're going to feel a little bit differently. And what it is that you feel that's different from what it is that you felt before you walked into the event is what you're picking up from other people. This is your empathizing. Once you're able to pick up what it is other people are feeling, now you can make a decision on whether you want to aid, change, or do something that will affect the other person. If they're going through an emotionally difficult time, that's what you're going to pick up. But you're going to recognize that it's someone else's feeling, not your own. What happens mostly with empathy, all of us have the ability to empathize. We just don't know that we're doing it. And what happens is when we do and we don't recognize it, we simply react to it. So have you ever walked into a room and felt agitated and angry, and all of a sudden you started reacting really sharply with the people that are in the room? It's not that you are angry. If you step out of the room and kind of take a couple of deep breaths, you'd recognize that it's not your anger. So most of us don't understand that we are picking up the feeling of other people. Think of it in this way. When we're generating all of this feeling and we walk into a room, all of you are also generating feeling, but also attempting to listen. It's like we're all fish in the same ocean. and we feel it from each other. It all mixes together. We're not able to discriminate who is generating what. If you do this exercise that I told you, to get away from people, sit in your own space, analyze what you feel, put it into words, then go to an event dealing with other people, you're going to understand what it is you're picking up from other people. This is one of the only ways that you can separate your own feeling from other people. Everybody's heard about heart center and unconditionality. What does that mean? It means that you don't just let everybody dump all over you. What it means is that you let whatever comes towards you pass over you and stay centered in who you are and what you're dealing with. This exercise will teach you to do that. Do you have any questions on this? Go ahead.
So when you walk into a room and you pick up the anger,
Mm-hmm.
how do you make that anger dissipate? Because it's not yours, but you now own it. So how do you protect? How do
You only own it if you choose to invest in it. If you walk into a room and pick up the anger, you stop, recognize, hey, I wasn't angry before I came in here. Something else is in here. This is not me. You recenter yourself. You let it wash over you. The Buddhists tell you that the idea of meditating and dealing with your feelings is not to grab a hold of feelings, not to think about them, not to dwell on them, not to invest in them. Let them wash over you. When they wash over you, you become recentered. So how do you disconnect? You recognize that it's not you. This exercise that I'm teaching you to do, outside, clear, feel what you're feeling, recognize what you're feeling at the moment, go into the event, or whatever it is, you pick up the anger, it's like, this is different. I wasn't feeling this before. This is not me. I am not generating this. What happens with most people is that you walk into a situation where someone else is angry, they project their anger, your empathy tunes into it unconsciously, you're not recognizing it, you become angry, and it's like, why am I angry? I don't understand, and you start reacting to other people. The key is to recognize the change in feelings in who you're dealing with. Who are you going to most, let's say, be compassionate with? Strangers. Why? Because a stranger you do not have an emotional investment in a stranger. So you're going to recognize something's different from you or what your family may project. Whereas the hardest place to empathize and discriminate your emotions, it's in your family situation, because your family has all your buttons. And they know that if they project a certain amount of certain kind of emotion or feeling, you're going to react. And they don't necessarily do this consciously. They're brought up, you get used to being in the fish pond with the other family fish people, and everything is generated through the water, and because you feel it in the family situation, you just assume it's yours. So the whole idea that's really, really important, the only way that you can get up into the heart center is to recognize when you are generating what you're generating, and when someone else is generating what they're generating, that is not self. Okay? The language of the heart center is empathy. The language of the solar plexus is feeling. You generate with the solar plexus. You listen with the heart center. So as you let the solar plexus energy from around you wash over you and pass you, now you are unconditionally listening. You don't have a preconception of who or what is in the room with you. You just listen to what's there. Does this make sense? It's probably one of the hardest things a human could do in their whole lives. What chakra are we evolving into? The heart center, right? Doesn't it follow that the feeling will be the most difficult hurdle to overcome? And that difficulty is in becoming separate from the feelings that are washing into you. Feelings are involuntary. They just come through you. Your heart center, once you recognize your own feelings, and I don't want to say push them down, but let them pass over you, you can listen to what someone else is doing. Then you can take compassionate action. You can feel what someone else is feeling, recognize what they're dealing with, and then take steps, conversation, do something that will mitigate or neutralize the feeling that they're feeling. Does this make sense? The whole idea is for us to stop polarizing, because when we feel, when we project, we polarize. There's you, there's me, we create a resistance. Okay, do we understand that? Do we understand that there is a difference between feeling and emotion? I think most people don't. Most people consider them the same thing. Feeling is an involuntary thing. Feelings come over you like a wave, and they dissipate like a wave. If you go through a traumatic event, a feeling comes over you. As that feeling comes over you and you're dealing with the traumatic event, you start thinking about it, you judge it. It now gets a judgment attached to the feeling, and the feeling gets committed to memory. Then you go on with your life. A couple of months, week, down the road, you come to another event. You see someone else, or you're having another situation, 2 minutes, that triggers those feelings within you. That is an emotion. It's controlled by your thought. If we don't think, if we let the feeling wash over us, we can center ourselves and recognize what someone else is feeling. So what is compassion all about? It's listening to what other people are feeling. How do we do it? By quieting our own feelings so we can listen. And where do we listen? We'll listen with the heart center. The unconditionalness is listening, not letting somebody dominate or walk over you, just listening. Do you have any questions? I know I just blew you away with it, right? What the hell is he talking about? But it's something that all of us have to struggle with, to disconnect from what other people are projecting, center ourselves, then we can be of use to our own growth and to help other people to get to a more neutral feeling position. Thank you.